Welcome back, guys. I hope you're having a beautiful day. We're reading Am I the Devil today, and I hope you're excited. If anything, I feel like I'm a little bit too excited. And also, I know I've been doing a lot of Am I the A-hole recently, but it's so fun. And yeah, thank you for joining me, guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Am I the a-hole for asking my daughter to share her money? I have 4 daughters, 29 female, 23 female, 16 female, and 15 female. My oldest works a good job and does side hustle, so she does make really good money for her age. My 23-year-old chose not to go to college. She didn't want to have to do chores and other work at home. She moved out last year and we gave her $25,000, which was her college fund. Unfortunately, rent costs a lot here, so we do have to help out with food and water and expenses pretty often. The 25 grand was gone in a year. We have to spend lots of money on her so she can afford her life as she doesn't really want to work. My husband isn't able to work much anymore due to health issues, and with my income alone, I can no longer afford to support my 23-year-old with my salary. My oldest daughter lives in a pretty rich state and makes quite over $100,000 per year, although she lives in a pretty high cost of living spot. This is more than what I make, so I asked my eldest if she could give some money to support her sister. She doesn't want to, as it'll be expensive, and she wants to save on a house, but I really wanted to, as it'll help her sister a lot. My older daughter told me to tell my youngest to work and not freeload off everybody else. I told her she was being selfish, and I asked her to pay at least $2,000 a year, and I'd asked my 23-year-old to get a part-time job, and she still refused. I think it's selfish of her to put buying a house over helping her sister. She says that she'll be willing to help her sister look for a job and to give her $500 a month, not anything more than that. I did ask for my daughter to get a part-time job, but she doesn't want to. Now my oldest is upset that I'm trying to use her and that I'm spoiling my 23-year-old because she had to work and she had to go to college, but I told her I'd changed my parenting style. She's still upset, so am I the a-hole? Wait a second, so your 23-year-old daughter doesn't want to work, and because you can't support her to not work, you feel like it's your other daughter's responsibility to pay for her to not work? Nah, OP. If your youngest daughter doesn't want to work, your youngest daughter needs to figure that out. It doesn't become everybody else's job to pay for their lifestyle. Yeah, the top comment, you the a-hole, you have zero obligation to support your adult children, and also your adult children have zero obligation to support their siblings. We have to spend lots of money on her so she can afford her life as she doesn't really want to work. Well, then if your daughter doesn't really want to work, she can call social services and get a list of shelters and stuff. This is more than what I make, so I asked my daughter if she could give some money to support her sister. She doesn't want to, as it'll be expensive, and she wants to save on a house, but I really wanted to, as it'll help her sister a lot. My oldest daughter told me to tell my youngest to work and not freeload off everybody else. I told her she was being selfish, and I asked her to pay at least $2,000 a year. A whole bunch of laughing emojis. Yeah, your oldest daughter is right, OP. Why should your youngest daughter be able to freeload off everybody else? Now, my oldest is upset that I'm trying to use her and that I'm spoiling my 23-year-old because she had to work and go to college, but I told her I changed my parenting style, and good for you. Here's the thing though, nobody has to support your adult daughter, and the comment under that one too. Yeah, you the a-hole. You want your eldest child to give money to her sibling only because the 23-year-old has no interest in working? What the hell, lady? What a terrible precedent you're setting for her, and how hurt your eldest would feel. Why should your 29-year-old fund your aimless adult child's life? Why do you seem totally fine with her insistence that she doesn't want to work or get an education? She has no plan for her life. She said that she'd be willing to help her sister look for a job and give her $500 a month, not anything more than that. That's brilliant help from your eldest. She shouldn't need to give her any more. 23-year-old needs to figure out what she wants to do with her life and put it into action. OP's account's been suspended, so I can't read any comments, but they must have said this comment here. My daughter usually plays video games all day with her online friends or watches movies and occasionally goes outside. Literally, what the hell? Like, yeah, that's all well and good to live like that, but you can't expect somebody else to pay for it. Like, I don't want to say that the 23-year-old is the favorite child or something, but oh my god, encourage them to do something. It's not okay that you let them expect everybody else to pay for their life. And also, how bloody rich is it to call the oldest one selfish? Like, is it a golden child situation or something? Surely that can't be real. Yeah, well, what a way to start the episode. Post number 2 is called, Am I the a-hole for not accommodating my ex and letting my son get home late the day before his finals? So, as background, I'm constantly having to accommodate my ex. My 15-year-old son lives with him and I only see him every other weekend, and his little brother who lives with me currently also barely sees him on weekends as well, because he always has something going on. Football games, quinceañera practice for his friend, homecoming, football practice. I find I'm always needing to switch weekends or lose time or drive an hour to pick him up from his events. Just this weekend, my weekend, I had to drive all the way an hour to his city to pick up my son because he had a quinceañera that I didn't agree to, and his dad could not help with because he was not in town. He basically told me that it was up to me if I wanted to let him go or not, but he could have cancelled his vacation, he planned to switch weekends with me, so my ex went on vacation over Memorial Day. Apparently he was going to fly back Monday early afternoon, but due to hail and thunder, his flight got delayed for 5 to 6 hours, and he told me that he wasn't going to be able to meet up at the halfway point until 8:45 p.m. Normal pickup time is 7:30. I told him no, that won't work, and he needs to drive to my house, an extra hour total, to get our son. My view is it's his fault for going on vacation, and if he really cared about our son, he would have made sure that he was there on time to pick him up at 7:30. And I'm already flexible because I drove all the way to the city to pick up our son from his quinceañera. I have to take care of my current boyfriend and I's baby, and get my ex's younger son ready for bed, so I can't drive to the meetup point at 8:45. His view is that our son has a math final tomorrow that he was going to help him do a final review for to refresh because he was at my house all weekend, and he wanted him to be rested. If he's going to drive from the airport to my house and then from my house to his house, our son would lose an entire hour that he could use to review. If I met him at 8:45 p.m, his son would be home by 9:15 p.m. versus 10:15. He said that it's my decision to give up my time instead of just driving him to practice, and that the football and social events are things that our son wants to do, so I should be putting him first, and that I'm not putting him first and I'm being unnecessarily inflexible by refusing to drive 25 minutes to the meetup points at 8:45 p.m. He was also very insulting to my boyfriend, saying it's too bad that he can't step up and help me with the baby and our younger son, so I can drop off our older son. He also saying that it's my fault that the brothers don't see each other because I wouldn't let our younger son go live with him for the last 1.5 years. Okay, not gonna lie, that was super confusing to read, but I think I get the point, and yeah, I'm pretty sure you are the a-hole OP. The top comment says, helping your son go to his normal teenager events is just being a parent. You're not being flexible and doing extra for that. You're only doing what you're supposed to do for your kid. You having to drive extra or lose time is normal. You're supposed to be putting your son first, which means facilitating a normal life for him, which yeah, means homecoming and football practice and friends' quinceañeras. You're bitter and angry at your ex because you're being asked to do what the parent is supposed to do, and now he's got a plane delay that was truly out of his control, and you're choosing to punish your son to stick it to your ex? Of course you're the a-hole. I like this comment. Information. What magic or device did your ex have that controlled the weather? Yeah, come on. This other comment too. While you may not have any obligation to your ex, you certainly do have an obligation to your son. You the a-hole for not being there for your son. You the a-hole for talking about your son as if he is a burden. You act like he's controlling your life, but you don't even see him every day. He's your own son, and you're talking about how much of an inconvenience it is to see him every other weekend. Be a parent. The next one is called, am I the a-hole for calling my dad a ding-dong for supporting my sister's business but not mine? 5 years ago, my sister, 25 at the time, decided she wanted to open a preschool. My dad was completely on board, helped her pick out a piece of land, bought the land, got her set up with a modular building company, paid for the building, donated supplies, and paid for everything for the first year. Every year, his company donates thousands of dollars to her school. They provide backpacks, lunch boxes, and water bottles to each of her students every year. They donate food on special occasions. They fund graduation every year, and they provide teacher presents for Christmas and the end of year. She talked about wanting to expand, and his company donated a whole ass building and a new playground. I, 27 female, want to open a salon. I asked my dad to help me open it like he did with my sister's school. He recommended I spend a few more years working and then he'll consider it. I reminded him that he helped my sister when she was 2 years younger than me, but he said it's different because she started babysitting at 11, working at a swim school at 13, started working with preschoolers at summer camps by 15, and got a job as a preschool teacher fresh out of high school. He also said that she had a good understanding of how the business would work and had great ideas for location and specialization to attract parents. I told him I do have good ideas, but he's just not willing to listen and spend even half of what he did on my sister on my business. He said the only way that he'll reconsider is if I at least get an associate's in business, get a job in my field and keep it for 3 or more years, and save at least half of the startup costs. All of this has to happen within 4 years. We got into an argument and I called him a ding-dong for supporting my sister and spending tens or hundreds of thousands on her business, but either refusing or making me jump through hoops to get even half of what she got. He says I'm being ungrateful and unrealistic, and that I can't expect something just because my sister has it. And there's a comment here that says info. So your sister was working as a preschool teacher for 7 years, age 18 to 25, before opening her own school with the help of your dad. Your dad says one thing he wants you to do is to get a job in your field for at least 3 years. Have you worked at a salon? You don't mention your work history. And OP said, I have worked in salons, but it's hard to find a good fit. I have ADHD and bosses are not accommodating. And there are some comments under that. So you can't hold down a job as a salon employee, and you think the natural solution is to be a salon owner instead? Yeah, that's probably why your dad doesn't want to help you yet. He doesn't want his investment to go to waste. To be a leader, you first have to learn how to be a follower. Sorry to say, but I'm with him. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely information missing. The top comment says you're the a-hole. While I think some information about your background and experience would have been relevant, the fact that you left it out even when you responded to comments and then said simply, I've worked in salons in said comments, tells me that that you don't have anywhere near the necessary experience or temperament that your sister does. You also didn't address people requesting for information about your business plan. Your dad doesn't owe you anything. Sure, I think spending like hundreds of thousands for one child and not for the other is questionable, but from everything that you've written, you don't really have a very credible plan to make good use of the money. And whether you like it or not, your sister's plan likely seems like a much more noble cause to your dad, and one that she has demonstrated many years of passion and qualification for. She's helping raise children, and your dad believes that she is very good at it. In a way, your dad gets to participate in a charitable and possibly lucrative business as an investment of his money with somebody who he trusts to make very good use of the capital, while also helping instill qualities that he values into children. That's a very attractive opportunity to deepen his bond with his daughter, while also being proud of her efforts to help build a better future for the community. You want to do hair and nails, and you've been unable to hold down a job or get along with former bosses in salons. Edit check OP's responses in the comments in the post. You just went to him and you leveraged his prior investment with your sister as the primary reason that he should make an investment with you. You don't seem to have a plan or a passion. That's about the worst start to an investment pitch possible, and your attitude about it reeks of entitlement. And add to that you then insulted him after he suggested reasonable terms on which he'd agree to consider investing in you. I doubt that he'd be keen to give you a penny now, and you likely only succeeded in distancing yourself from him while also raising the bar much higher for yourself to obtain his investment. You're not qualified, and you've been unsuccessful holding down a job at a salon. Your course is kinda meh, it's not your passion. You don't have much of a plan, and you're emotional and entitled. Not the kind of person anybody would want to invest in, and your dad probably justifiably believes that you'd burn through it and then come looking for more. If I were him, I'd be thinking about keeping some money aside for you if you're struggling and need financial support to stay afloat, instead of spending that on a startup now that he isn't confident will succeed under your leadership. But again, you insulted him like a spoiled child who didn't get what you wanted. So yeah, that might be out the window for you now too. You totally blew it, and you need to apologize to your dad, figure out what to do to better yourself and be worthy of what you asked for, and work really hard for like 5 or 10 years of stable employment, or you're going to be stuck in a vicious cycle of blaming your ADHD for your own faults, alienating yourself from your family, and extricating yourself from any future financial help from your father, including inheritance. You're over a decade behind your sister in professional experience and emotional maturity, and you kind of seem to be moving in the wrong direction. Yeah, pretty much. That's such a good comment. The next one is called, "Am I the gay hoe for not letting my husband go to his friend's funeral?" Now, this might sound bad, but let me explain. I'm 32 female and my husband's 32 male. We've been married for 4 years. We have a child who is 1, and they're both the light of my life. Now, onto the issue. Me and my husband met in middle school, though we didn't end up dating until we came back from college. Back in middle school, my husband really liked me. He would try to get me to date him, but I turned him down every time. Then in high school, it stopped and I was happy because then we could just be friends. But I have learned about 3 months ago that at the time he was dating somebody. My friends at S will call me, and he told me that they started dating in 11th grade until close to their last year of college. But apparently my husband's ex's parents didn't want them dating, so he did. Then he came back from school and we meet up and we started dating. After that and some time when his ex started dating somebody else, they became friends. He never told me any of this. Now I'm thinking about everything about how they would act with each other. I also think he used me as a backup to get over this relationship. Now I was going to talk to him about it, but I was letting it all sink in. But a few days ago he passed away. Part of me thought that now I don't have to think about it. But then my husband talked about going to his funeral, and I broke down and I yelled at him, and I told him that he shouldn't be going, and then he called me an a-hole and a heartless biatch, and then he got up and left. Now I know that I might be in the wrong, but a big part of me thinks that I'm not really an a-hole for how long he's lied to me about this. Lied to you about what though? What do you mean? That your husband dated somebody before you? I'm so confused. Yeah, I do feel like you're the a-hole OP. Yeah, like this comment says, so you were your husband's first choice, but you didn't want him. After you said no, he started dating somebody else. You're mad because your husband dated somebody before you. Why? Okay, so he kept his ex as a friend, and for him it isn't just his ex that passed away, but his friend. A friendship that lasted more than a decade, and that's what's important here. Let your husband mourn his friend. You the gay hoe. Yeah, but the friend that died wasn't the ex, was it? I read that as it was the partner of the ex or something. That was really confusing to read, by the way, that post. Yeah, there's so many comments saying the same stuff. The top comment says, you the gay hoe. Jesus Christ, this is pathetic. His friend is dead. You married him and you won, in your mind. He should be able to attend a funeral if that'll help him. I'm sure it will, since he ended the relationship prematurely because of you and your insecurities. Wow, I'm normally confused in these episodes. Right, okay, OP said in the comments that yes, it was the ex that died. But yeah, I guess the post was just super confusing to read. Yeah, like this comment said, so you, his first choice, could turn him down multiple times, but God forbid he found a relationship with somebody who actually wanted him for a while, before you suddenly decided that he was worth your time after all, but he stayed friends with them and wants to attend their funeral. Wow, and you were how old again? Yeah, you're the a-hole. Yeah, I don't really understand how it could not be the a-hole. You know, like how could this ever go the other direction. And the husband wasn't lying. I'm assuming they were saying the husband was lying because they were friends with them. But like, come on. Yeah, that's so sad. And like the husband said, it's heartless. Yeah, no, I feel like that's enough for today. I want to read something wholesome so bad. A photographer took a picture before and after giving this woman a sword. Wow, that's so funny. Everybody's a little bit happier with a sword. Understandable too. I am mighty and so is my sword. I work with the same doctor that delivered me 21 years ago. Wow, how special's that? That's so beautiful. Like, hey, I know you. I delivered you 21 years ago. That's so wild. Also, good on you for remembering that. What a wholesome moment. You're gonna become a cat lady living all alone in a book-filled apartment is such a weird insult. Like when a witch tries to curse you and then accidentally gives you the life of your dreams. Oh no, not the cats in the books. How will I ever manage? Oh yeah, what a nightmare. Doesn't sound totally cute and cozy. Like, don't threaten me with a good time, witch. Nothing, just three cuties looking at each other. No, stop it. Okay, that's enough for today. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Richard the Ranger. This is a comment. Yeah, at 100% is. And I appreciate your comment, Richard. I don't have anything else to say about this beautiful comment, but I appreciate it and thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode and I hope to see you then. So make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!